Hello, dear students. Welcome to our online lesson. Today we are going to learn about Australia. At first, we will learn some new words, and then you will learn some interesting facts about Australia. Do you know that this country is called the Upside Down World? Why? Because it is situated in the southern hemisphere. What is hemisphere? Полушарие. So, Australia is situated in the southern hemisphere where winter comes in July and summer begins in December. The next word is wheat, pшеница. Flour is made from wheat and bread is made from flour. Peach and apricot are very tasty fruits. I'm sure you like to eat peaches and apricots. The next word is a pear. And then you will learn the word a berry. I'm sure you know strawberries, blueberries. What is berry? Ягода. So the next word is a swamp, and you may use adjective swampy. What is swamp? Болото. Sand, песок, and an adjective is sandy. Vast. What is vast? Something that is vast is very large. Vast means обширный, огромный. Humid. Влажный. What can be humid? Humid climate, humid day, humid weather. To inhabit – населять, and adjectives inhabited – населенный, uninhabited – ненаселенный. So let's make exercise. The task is to match words and their definitions. The words are a swamp, an apricot, to inhabit, vast, hemisphere, a berry, humid, a pear, wheat. You will have some time to make this exercise. Now I'm going to show you the answers. If you are not ready, you may stop the video and do the exercise up to the end. So the answers are a swamp. It's land filled or covered with water. An apricot is a round, soft orange or yellow fruit like a peach, but smaller. To inhabit means to populate, населять. Vast, very large. Hemisphere is one half of the earth. A berry. What is a berry? I'm sure your answer is D. It's a small, soft fruit. Humid, with a lot of water. A pear, a fruit that looks like a bell. And the last word is wheat. What is wheat? A plant from which flour is made. So let's start our journey with the geographical position. Now tell me please, do you know why is Australia called so? Even in medieval times, there were stories about a large continent in the southern hemisphere, but Europeans had never seen it, so they called this land Terra Australis Incognita, or the unknown southern land, Australia. Terra means land, земля. Australis, southern, южная, and incognita, неизвестная. Nowadays, when people speak of Australia, they can mean three things. Australia as a continent, Australia as an island, and Australia as an independent state. The 26th of January is the official National Day of Australia, which is called Australia Day. Australia is the world's largest island and its smallest continent. Asia is the continent nearest to Australia in the north. The icy shores of Antarctica lie to the south. New Zealand is to the east. To the west of Australia stretches the Indian Ocean, and in the east the country is washed by the Pacific Ocean. Australia is a land of striking differences. In the center of the country and in the west, more than 50% is desert, dry and uninhabited. There are three deserts there: the Great Sandy Desert, the Gibson Desert, and the Victoria Desert. Naturally, very few people live there. Most of the people live on the narrow coasts of the east and southeast. The first people who arrived to Australia were Aboriginal people. They arrived here about 50,000 years ago. It's believed that they traveled from Asia. Dutch explorers first landed in Australia in 1606. However, Australia wasn't really explored until 1770. Captain James Cook traveled to the east coast and claimed this country for Great Britain. Australia was the colony of Great Britain. Now it's a member of the Commonwealth. So you can see the Union Jack on the flag of Australia. You can also see 5 stars, which represent the constellation of stars known as the Southern Cross, and represents Australia's location in the Southern Hemisphere. This large 7-pointed star is the Commonwealth star. Each of the points represents one of the 6 states, and the 7th is for 2 territories, Canberra and the Northern Territory. Here you can see the coat of arms of Australia. In the center you can see symbols of 6 states and 2 native Australian animals, the kangaroo and the emu. Australia is divided into 2 territories and 6 states. The states are New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia, and Tasmania. The territories are Northern Territory and the Australian Capital Territory, where the capital is situated. Each territory and each state has its own flag and symbol. Now let's start our journey from the New South Wales. It's the oldest state in Australia and its leading industrial state. Most people live along the east coast and most of them live in Sydney. Sydney is the capital city of New South Wales and the biggest city in Australia. Here you can see the symbol of Sydney and the well-known attraction in Australia, Sydney Opera House. You can see the flag of New South Wales and the floral symbol of the state, the varata, a large red flower which is protected by law. The next state is Victoria. Its state capital and the largest city is Melbourne. It is the second largest city in Australia. It's interesting that Victoria, like Queensland, was named after Queen Victoria, who had been on the British throne for 14 years when the colony was established in 1851. The main products in this state are sheep and wheat. Victoria was the first Australian colony to have its own flag. Its bird emblem is the helmeted honeyeater. Queensland. Queensland is the second largest state in Australia. Its coast is a popular place for holidaymakers. The climate along the east coast is hot and humid. It is the tropical corner of Australia. Bananas and other tropical fruits are grown here, but most of the land in the south is too dry for farming. Some of Australia's most unproductive desert lands occupy the bigger part of the state. The capital city of Queensland is Brisbane. Here you can see the state flag with the crown, and the koala was officially named the animal emblem of Queensland. Western Australia. This state is dry and inhospitable, except the southwestern corner of the state. Perth is the state capital. Here you can see the flag of Western Australia, and the bird emblem is the black swan. South Australia is the third largest state. Most of South Australia's people, farms and industry are in the southeastern part of the state. Adelaide is the capital and the largest city here. The state edible emblem is wombat. Wheat and fruit, apricots, pears, peaches, nectarines, and grapes are grown along the lower part of the Murray River. Tasmania. Tasmania is an island. Aboriginals are the native people of Tasmania and have lived there for a very long time. Abel Tasman was the first European to discover the land in 1642. It was later called Tasmania. Tasmania is sometimes called the Apple Isle because it produces most of Australia's apples. The capital city is Hobart, and unofficial animal symbol is Tasmanian devil. Northern Territory is the least populated and least developed part of Australia. Only 1% of Australia's people live there. The capital and the largest city is Darwin. Here you can see Iron Rock, one of Australia's best-known symbols. It's a huge red stone formation that rises in the south. Australian Capital Territory has only one city. It is Canberra, the capital city of Australia. The animal emblem is the southern brush-tailed rock wallaby, and the flower emblem is the royal bluebell. Now your home task is exercise 2. Match states and their capitals. The states and territories, once again, they: New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania, Northern Territory, and Australian Capital Territory. And the cities are Canberra, Sydney, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart, Brisbane, Darwin, Melbourne. The next exercise is finish the sentences. They call this land Terra Australis Incognita, or Australia is the world's largest island, and in the east the continent is washed by Tasmania. The island state is sometimes called how, and the capital of Australia is exercise number 4. Write questions to the underlined words. For example, the first one. Australia is often called the upside down world. How will you make the question? What country is often called the upside down world? Australian winter begins in July. So in July is underlined. Its summer starts in December. Australia is washed by the waters of the Indian Ocean. There are 3 deserts on the territory of Australia. They receive little rain. Very few people live there. Australia has an unusual collection of animals. So your home task is write exercises 2, 3, and 4. I hope you enjoy our virtual trip to Australia, and information was rather interesting for you. Thank you for your attention.